Today's gospel, Jesus gives a parable about the need to pray always and not to lose heart, to continuously pray. It's obviously something that's not very easy because we are always looking forward to an answer to our prayers. And more so when we want it to come from justice. I feel that it is right that this is something that should be given to me. In the parable, Jesus speaks about the woman who is coming to the unjust judge and asks for justice against the person who is doing evil against her. And that's something that always bothers all of us. When evil seems to be winning, you'll always find some people are sheer evil and they just seem to be winning all the time. Nothing seems to be happening to them. We are the ones who pray and it seems to be happening only to us. Well, if we always feel that evil seems to prosper, one comforting verse is from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 11 to 13. Ecclesiastes 8, verse 11 to 13. Because sentenced against an evil deed is not executed speedily, the human heart is fully set to do evil. And that's why they don't see anything happening out of their evil acts or or God's justice coming out of the evil acts, so they continue to do evil. Though sinners do evil 100 times and prolong their lives, yet I know that it will be well with those who fear God, because they stand in fear before Him. But it will not be well with the wicked, neither will they prolong their days like a shadow, because they do not stand in fear before God. So if you always think that evil always seems to be winning, let this verse comfort us, that evil will not always prosper. And at some point or the other, God's justice will set in. And that is what we always look for. I'm looking for God's justice. And God is a just judge. In Psalm 9, verse 7. Psalm 9, verse 7 and 8. But the Lord sits enthroned forever. He has established His throne for judgment. He judges the world with righteousness. He judges the peoples with equity. So God is a God of justice, and God judges rightly, is what God Himself says in Psalm 89, verse 14. Psalm 89, verse 14. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. So when you and I come into the presence of God, to the throne of God's justice, somewhere in our heart we should be sure that justice will be given. So that's what we seek. We seek justice. But maybe what we also should be careful about is, when we are seeking justice, does it have a good foundation or will it backfire? Does it have my cry for justice? Does it have a solid foundation? Am I really, really sure that I want justice? Because maybe, just maybe, it might backfire. In one of our houses, where we also have a parish, there's close by a little government institution. And next to the government institution, we have two of our parishioners who are neighbors. And one of the parishioners decided to build something at the edge of his property. And immediately the other parishioner, so parishioner A, parishioner B. So parishioner B was extremely upset, came out, fought and said, that is my part of the property. And parishioner A said, no, that is my part of the property. And the two of them got into a bitter argument. Obviously, they came to the priest to find a solution. The priest tried to find a solution. There was no solution to it. The argument got even more bigger. Whenever a priest is involved, the argument gets bigger. So the argument went to the extent that they went and gave a case in the court. And then the arguments, and the arguments, the counter arguments, and everything went on. And ultimately, the court found out that that property didn't belong to parishioner A, nor did it belong to parishioner B. It was that government institution's property. And ultimately, both of them lost out. But they were so sure it belonged to them. How sure we are that what we are asking for is right. When we say, I want justice, if it's Royston who has done something wrong against me, I'm asking for justice. I'm praying to God and I'm saying, I want justice. This man is evil. That's what I believe. I'm just giving an example. He's evil is what I believe. What he's done to me is wrong is what I believe. And I'm coming into the presence of God and I'm demanding for that justice. Well, have I actually checked to see if there might be a counter argument within my own heart? Have I really checked to see if I'm right within my own heart? Luke chapter 14, verse 31, that famous statement, which king who goes out to war with 10,000 men does not first think if he can stand against the 20,000? First check and see. When we are asking for justice, will it backfire? There's always, in law, there will always be arguments and there will be counter arguments. What if the counter arguments have good points? What if they dig up things that actually show that if justice is to be given, we might lose out? Be very, very careful when we pray, asking for justice. In your own homes, you would see that. I know it happened in my house. When I get caught for something, and say, suppose my brother or my sister is the one who actually told my parents about something I did, and then my parents catch me for it. What is my way of responding? I'll tell my parents whatever my brother or sister did. And then I'm trying to get them into a problem. There's always an argument, there's always a counter argument, and we better always remember this. In the midst of us asking for justice, that cry for justice should be with a pure heart. Or maybe that cry for justice should always come with a touch of mercy. Pray for that as well. When we are praying,